I just set orders and forget about it. There's no reason for me to put myself through that when I know there's just a better way to do it. Basically, at this point, have $1 million in challenges running. So usually 10 challenges all running at once. Obviously, you don't need a ton of time. You don't need a bunch of money. It's really just you need a little bit of follow through, and the rest is kind of taken care of.
All right, I'm here with Sam, who actually happens to be one of our admissions coordinator that has quite the trading backstory and has come across our product and is doing extremely well. And so this is going to be an exciting one to hear about his journey, but then also what he's doing to have so much success with our product. So Sam, quickly, give me the backstory on when did you get started trading, and I guess why in the first place anyways?
Yeah, great question. I think it starts like a lot of people is they know somebody who trades and makes money and they want to get into it. I was actually playing football in college, and one of my teammates was like, "Oh yeah, I made $3,000 today, trading." I was like, "Wait, trading? What is that?" So I kind of learned a little bit about it. He, started giving me some information, sent me some YouTube videos, and then I just kind of dove into it myself. And he helped me along the way a little bit, but just dove into it. I think I just had a knack for just enjoying it. I wouldn't necessarily say I was good. I was interested in it, but I was in college. I didn't have much capital to get started. But actually, a funny thing happened. This is at the very beginning of like the NIL thing. And so Sam's Club actually did a deal where they're like, "Hey, make a TikTok, anybody that's an athlete named Sam." So I was like, "Oh, this is perfect." So actually got a nice chunk of cash from NIL from Sam's Club. And then I was like, okay, now I have some money, let's trade. And of course I lost like 50% of it, like right off the bat. Try to trade. It's just kind of the tuition getting into trading. And then so it started with kind of options just throughout, college, did a little bit of that, transitioned into futures, with trying to do the prop firms. I passed a few. I'm actually good buds with Ed, who's also a member, and he did there's another YouTube video with him, and we had a pretty similar story. We kind of did it together, trying to do this futures thing. Didn't really have any success, but we got funded. It's actually another funny story is what we did is we were living together at the time, so we just kind of had like a little trading setups together. And basically what we ended up doing was I would sit there on a demo account and try to just basically try to lose, like just channel my inner noob trader and try to lose as much as possible, and he would take the opposite trade from me, and it actually worked. Like we got funded. Oh
my God.
It was the most effective thing we did, but ended up blowing it before he took a payout. So just tried a bunch of things, obviously, tried everything under the sun. It just wasn't really, I wasn't making money, obviously not enough to make a living, nothing like that. Out of college, I had an opportunity to with the NFL. It didn't really last very long, so that didn't work out. So I was like, well, crap, now what do I do? And then at that point, I just kind of got the 9-to-5 job. Just had it was my only option at that point, so I was working for like a home developer, just in the office, in the cubicle. I was, had my charts pulled up like behind my other tab, my work tab, and I was like sneaking it over so my boss wouldn't see I was always trading, still had the dream. And then so at that point, just had mutual connection with Blue Edge, applied for the position, was able to get the opportunity to work with you. And then I just instantly saw the idea, like the potential, with the hedging, with just the automation, everything involved. It just like clicked. I was like, how did I not know about this? This is awesome. So
what was running through your head? Because you'd been trying trading since college football days, and you'd failed a ton. Tried a bunch of different stuff, prop firms, everything. And then you see our company. Most people that I speak to, they have the same story, right? They failed a ton. They use different bots, and they come across us, and they're actually skeptical. But it sounds like maybe you weren't that skeptical. Or what was going through your head?
That's a good question. I was excited for the opportunity. Yes, I was like, nothing's worked so far in trading, but like I knew it was possible. And I had never really even ventured into automation yet. So I was like, it makes sense it could work. So I necessarily wasn't, as skeptical. Because I just saw the potential. And so, I just kind of dove in. I just kind of saw it and took it for what it was. And then just, was like, all right, this is going to work or it's not. It ended up, working out great. I didn't have much to work with. Started one challenge at a time, failed my first one, and then passed my second two. So at that point, the motor was running. That's the key. Once you get the motor running, it's, it's upwards from there. So
let me pause you there. So the first couple that you ran, the first one, were you hedging initially?
Yes. Yeah, I was hedging initially. So the first one I ran and I didn't lose any money. I failed the challenge, didn't lose any money, just withdraw that and then put it into the next one and actually pass that one and then pass the one after that too. And then so that point I had, and I took a few payouts on that first funded account I had.
What did that feel like since, I mean, it seems like you hadn't made any money at trading until like that first payout, you know?
Yeah, it was actually kind of surreal. It's I mean, it was a while back. So it's like, I remember texting Eddie, like, sending him the certificate. Like that certificate was like everything for me at that point. I was like, look at this, like
Yeah.
payout certificate from the prop firm. Like, you don't have one, suck it, because we have a little competition. So that was, I mean, it was awesome. It was surreal. It was like the first time where I put money in my bank from trading. I was like, okay, like after this whole process, now I'm here. Like it's just going to be more and more. So it was just the first step, I think.
Okay. So you get up going, you fail the first one, you hedge, and then you get funded, you get your first couple payouts. And then, so what happens after that? Because some light bulb must have went off in your head or something where you kind of turned on the gas. And tell me about journey.
Yeah, so for me, after I saw that initial success, I was like, okay, yeah, we're going to keep doing this. I basically reinvested all the profits, everything just back into it so I could take, and then at that point, I was taking 2 at a time and actually had a little bit of a, kind of a down spell, just, within the probabilities of what happens. So I had a little bit of a dry spell, but I just kept planting the seeds. I kept following the process. Obviously there's emotions that come in, it's like, man, is that first one a fluke? Like what's going to happen here? I was like, I'm playing this out, of course. And so I did that. And then like, I think after, a few weeks or like a month and a half or something, it started clicking again. And then, then I could run 4 challenges and then 6. And now I'm have over $1 million in challenges running at all times at this point. So, and within a year, I was in the 7-figure funded club.
And so now, what is your approach now? How many challenges are you running at a time, and are you doing anything special?
Yeah. So the approach really is, I'm a little bit of a mix. Most accounts I'm hedging. There's some specific prop firms that I like to just play those out without the hedging. So it's kind of getting a feel for things. Obviously, you get a little bit more savvy with picking strategies, profit targets, things like that, which is kind of the fun part. I mean, obviously, you're just letting the system run, but there's a little skill, like you have a little control with it, so it makes it more fun. Basically, at this point, have $1 million in challenges running. So usually 10 challenges all running at once. I think I have like 600K in active funding right now, so I have a lot of accounts to juggle, but that's the fun of it. I'm a little bit like some of the accounts that I can take more frequent payouts with, like weekly or daily. I usually shoot for a little bit more conservative, like maybe just 1.5% or so, just because I feel like that gives me probabilities to hit the profit target and then take another one and just squeeze as much money as I can out of these funded accounts. So but then other accounts I'm just following the normal process. So it's kind of fun. You can kind of feel things out, get creative with it, but that's kind of where my farm is at right now.
Yeah. And what about, because I know you had that one account that it seemed like you kept getting payouts on, like payout after payout after payout. What was the deal with that account? Like how many payouts did it end up going for?
Yeah, so that was a good one. That was a weekly payout account, and basically for 19 weeks in a row, I was just taking a payout. I was shooting for I think just like 1 or 1.3%, and I pulled over 20 grand out of that one account. And that happens, right? I mean, that's it's maybe a little bit of an outlier, but it's within the probabilities. You get one of those accounts, and then I mean the whole business just exponentially explodes at that point. So thanks to that account, it was kind of a little bit earlier on, like 6 months in or so, something like that. And then from that period, that just allowed the business to run 10 accounts at where I'm at now. And now I'm at the point where I'm, instead of reinvesting all the time, I'm pulling more profits out, back into the bank account, and so don't have to push as hard, which is cool.
And just for anybody that's watching, that's we don't expect anybody to necessarily get 19 payouts in a row. That's
of course
quite good. Of course, it is possible, but your results may vary.
Right.
So now at this point, it's just executing. Where's your belief at in the product? If somebody's maybe new watching this video and they're like, I've tried a bunch of trading stuff. I've tried bots in the past. I've tried prop firms. Hasn't worked for me. What is your advice to them?
It gets me excited, and obviously I'm just we're just guys on the internet, right? And it's hard if you don't know somebody personally or have your own experience with something. It's, of course, you have to be skeptical. It's human nature. But speculation in the market is one thing, but when you have like a real edge or like the gap in the market and an arbitrage opportunity, and then you can play that out at scale, as long as you understand the concept behind kind of the system here, the hedging, prop firms, everything that goes on. I mean, it's a no-brainer. there, right? You just can't not have success in the long term, right? So that's kind of how I think about it, is like, why wouldn't I push, just do this at the most scale as I can, because the numbers are going to play out, right? I mean, the house in a casino is going to make money.
It's funny because I was talking to Ed, and I know for a while he got into card counting, and he was telling me about, because that's the same thing, right? Like, you go to the casino, you play blackjack, and you count the numbers, right? And when the odds are in your favor, you bet more aggressively. And so he was telling me he got into that and was doing that, but that's a grind, right? You have like a 51% odds winning, but people can make great money doing that. Granted that they don't get bounced from the casino too quickly, but what I was telling to Ed is like, it's the same thing that we're doing here, except for the edge is way stronger than, you have counting cards, and the drawdowns are way lower because, we're hedging.
Right. Yeah. So, and it's, instead of gambling, we're running a business. But yeah, this edge is still there, which is cool.
So I guess, like, in terms of how this has made an impact, right? Obviously made the 7-figure funded club, you had $20,000 in payouts from one account. You've got this thing running. How is this making an impact in your life?
I mean, the financial aspect is great. I mean, yes, it makes an impact. It's, I bought a house, things like that, but it's more about just having something that I'm passionate about and I get up excited about every day. That's really the most important part for me. And it just affects everything else in my life. And, it helps to have a friend that's doing it too, and we just kind of it's way better than knocking my head against the wall on trading, trying to calm my emotions, like manual trading. That was difficult for me. I still like to do it every once in a while, but this just reduces the emotions. It just kind of, my quality of life has just increased, so I'm grateful.
You ever read the book Trading in the Zone by
Mark Douglas?
Yeah, kind of the classic trading Bible, right? He talks about, I can't remember the words exactly that he uses, but basically getting to this point of like emotional numbness where you're a robot and you just execute the system. And I don't know if for you, but for me, whenever I was trading manually, like you were, like, that didn't exist for me. Like, emotional numbness to just be able to execute the system, no way. Like, that did not exist. No matter really how big or how small the account was, like, it was just always there. Like the fear and the greed and the angst and the checking of the phone and all that. It was always there until now. Now with prop farming that I've been doing it a few years now, I don't ever lose sleep over it or wake up early. How are the accounts doing? I trust the edge. Is it the same for you?
Yeah, it's the exact same for me. And even when I do manual trading now, I just set orders and forget about it. There's no reason for me to put myself through that when I know there's just a better way to do it. So yeah, it's the exact same way for me.
I guess final thoughts. Is there anybody that you would recommend this product to? And if so, who are the types of people that you'd recommend it to?
Yeah, I'd say really anybody that wants something on the side or is struggling with trading, or really anybody that wants to run a business but not have to deal with maybe all the employees, all that other stuff, has some passions for investing or trading, and can follow through with something, stick with something. Obviously you don't need a ton of time, you don't need a bunch of money. It's really just, you need a little bit of follow through and the rest is kind of taken care of. So
yeah, awesome, Sam.